Hey, what's going on? Welcome. If you're new, please subscribe. Click the notification bell. Welcome for the first time. If you're returning, welcome back. So Brother Polight is out here looking goofy. This is the goofy stuff that makes me continue to not trust or want to support pro-blacks. This story is from August 19, 2021. And that's when Michael Noak Jr., also known as Brother Polight, maybe it's Michael Noak, I don't know. He surrendered to police for alleged sexual battery of a 14-year-old girl in a hotel room, February 2021. We all know that he was arrested for sexual battery. People have the receipts here that he has a plea deal set for July 7, 2023 at 0900 local time in Miami. So we know that he's going to plead guilty. And if it's not for sexual battery of a 14-year-old girl, it's going to be something to that effect. Because when people plead guilty, it means that they don't want to fight and risk getting time for what they've been accused of. So they may plead to a lesser charge and do less time. Now, if it's someone that doesn't have any money and we're talking that they have to use a public defender, it's understandable they may plead guilty out of fear. But Brother Polight, he's got the money. He has a following who will support him with a GoFundMe or just give him money directly or what have you. He has the ability to fight whatever the charge is. However, from what we heard as far as the evidence, there's a preponderance of evidence that the alleged sexual battery charge is something that he did, allegedly. And he's going to plead guilty because of that. So the receipts are out there. This is courtesy of the Resistance on Twitter. However, Brother Polight, who's out on bail, he's talking to his followers and he knows that the people who follow him are not intelligent. He knows that they're not going to be looking for receipts. He knows they follow him blindly because a lot of people, they don't want to put a black man in jail. They don't want to mess up the black community. They blame systemic racism for everything, the white man, if you will. He knows this is the people who listen and follow him, and they're going to believe whatever word he says. So he made an Instagram live to address stuff, and it's just real goofy. All right, so he did an Instagram live. He's doing mush mouth, and he's telling half truths, and he's playing games. I hate when people do stuff like this.
Page, and we screenshot the original videos.
He's talking about going to Tony the Closer's webpage and screenshotting different posts that was on Tony the Closer's page.
Tony the Closer, this is the cloud I guess you want. You want to be part of my life, now you're part of it. But just not the way you want to be. Brother Polight pleads guilty to molestation to molesting a 14-year-old child. Hell fucking no, I didn't.
Well, see, the thing is like he hasn't pled guilty as of June 22nd. He's going to plead guilty in July. So what he's trying to do with this is say that he has not pled guilty. He's talking about right now. And see, this is where this is called a half truth. He has a guilty plea coming up, and he could just talk about what he's going to plead as far as guilty. But instead of him talking about what he will plead guilty about, he's going to say he didn't plead guilty to child molestation and he didn't plead guilty right now. He knows his followers, all 770 people who watched his live, and even more people than that. He knows that they're not going to go look up his actual paperwork. He knows that. He knows that if he comes online and he does his IG, they're going to still give money. They're going to still believe him despite what the evidence is and despite what the paperwork says.
I didn't. It's just true.
Right. It's true you didn't plead guilty to child molestation, but what you're being charged for is sexual battery. We don't know if you pled guilty to a lesser charge. We don't know what it is. I don't have access to the actual dockets. People did a screenshot of it. I'm sure it's going to be out there what the actual plea deal is, what he's going to plead for. But plea deal is not going to be available until after he signs for it. And he's doing this half truth as in, yeah, I didn't plead guilty. But he didn't plead guilty right now. He's going to plead guilty July 7th, like I showed you before, courtesy of the Resistance. So instead of him telling people what he will plead guilty for, what the charges are, what the ramifications of that is, playing this half truth, which is usually what the pro-blacks do. And that's why a lot of black people will continue to support them despite their wrongdoing, because they do the word play, the word salad, and the mush mouthness.
And no matter how much you hope and beg and wish that I do, I ain't plead to no goddamn child molestation.
Right. It may have been a lesser charge than sexual battery. It may be a lesser charge than that. That's the whole point of a plea deal, is you're pleading to a lesser charge and you're saving the court taxpayer dollars. We understand that. What we want to know is, what will you plead guilty for July 7th? Tell us that.
And that's it. Now, I never seen a group of people fiending for somebody, hoping that someone did some shit like this. I never seen that in my life.
Well, no one hopes that you committed sexual battery of a 14-year-old girl. Nobody hopes that. What people are hoping for is that she gets justice by you being found guilty and doing jail time. Right. And so Jose Humble 888 is saying, but you not saying what happened, though. And you're also not telling people that July 7th, you're going to be pleading guilty.
I never seen a people hate another man so much that if it meant what they hope is the outcome, that a child was abused, that they would rather that in their hatred for a man. I would think you Negroes would be sitting here. I hope it's not true.
What the pro-blacks do is, when they or someone else abuses a child, what they'll try to do is say something like, well, the child wasn't abused because the child enjoyed it. The child wanted it. The child came onto me. The pro-blacks will do mess like that. And a lot of you idiots will actually believe that, because you'll say, well, when I was young, it happened to me and I liked it. And that's the reason why we're going to continue to have these predators in the community, because people are not united in what is right and what is wrong. It's black and white when it comes to the abuse of a child and that they can't consent to a sexual act with an adult. You might say, well, when I was young, I enjoyed it. I didn't think anything wrong with it. I turned out fine. Well, your sick and twisted thinking is a result of you being abused. You didn't get help. It's molded and shaped your thinking. We're not judging you or putting you down. It's just that, okay, you went through it. You had your experience, your takeaway from it. You should not participate in conversations talking about abuse and predators and preying on children, because you're not helping protect children. You're almost helping to protect the predators.
I hope nobody got abused. No, you Negroes is here. I hope it's true, because you hate me so much.
We just hope that the child gets justice, and we hope that whatever you plead to, you do jail time and you get off the street. We're hoping that you have to register as a sex offender. We're hoping that the 14-year-old girl and her mom, they get therapy. We hope that they're healed and made whole. And we're hoping that you, with the preponderance of evidence that we've seen, justice gets served and we get you off the street.
And so for the goofies that's out there saying, if someone accused me of something like that, I'm going to talk about it every day.
You were arrested for allegedly sexual battery of a 14-year-old girl. And from what we've heard, as far as the evidence, you did it. So we're hoping that you do jail time.
It's not how the court system works.
We know you're going to plead guilty July 7, which is next month, to a lesser charge than sexual battery of a minor. So we understand how the court system works, and we understand that it's not always fair. It doesn't always do the right thing. However, at least something will happen. And then possibly when you get off probation or you're released, as if you do jail time, the 14-year-old girl and her mom will sue you in civil court and get compensation so that they can continue on their process to get whole. And hopefully that can help them pay for therapy.
So I forgive you for your ignorance, because you don't know no better.
Oh, we know. We see the paperwork. Courtesy of the Resistance on Twitter, July 7, you're going to be pleading guilty. You got a plea deal set at 0900. So we know that. And we also know what you're accused of. So we're not that ignorant. It's just that your audience, who have been following you for years, seeing you and your madness, they're going to continue to believe it. And people are saying in the chat, what you going to court for on July 7? So if it's not true, why she say that? God, body, gains 3. They hate themselves, brother. And I'm glad that there's people in his chat who are not drinking the Kool-Aid, because where there's smoke, there's fire. And so Bobby Brooklyn is saying, what happened to innocent till proven guilty? Well, he's going to plead guilty July 7th. So I think it's safe to say that he's no longer innocent. And he's not even not guilty. He's pleading guilty July 7th. But a lot of you all don't care about the paperwork, don't want to see the paperwork. This is your internet daddy. This is the person who you worship. You believe that he's infallible. And that's why a lot of you all will continue to cover up for predators. And a lot of that continues to create a dysfunction in the community that has gotten so bad that it's a cancer. And all you could do is separate yourself and move away from it.
But that's it. There was no pleas made. And I never pled to no damn child molestation.
Well, there will be a plea made. See, that's what I'm saying about the whole mush mouth and half truth. A plea will be made July 7. So he's right. He has not made a plea. But he knows that when you give information, you got to give the full story. You're going to be doing a plea deal July 7. So we want to know, what are you pleading guilty for? That's really what this whole live should be about. And I've already watched it, boys and girls. He doesn't talk about it.
Point blank, period. That's it. And you can verify that. I don't know how people.
Oh, we've already verified. We've seen the docket. We've seen it. So we've already verified it.
Can know more about my world than I would know about my world. But
well, just let us know about your world then. We see the plea deal set for July 7. So we know enough to form a judgment and an opinion.
One thing is about it, people are so freaking weird.
No, you're weird, sir. You're weird. Just the whole situation was weird. Because the report says you took the teen to your hotel after seeing that the club was closed. After trying to take a 14-year-old girl to a club, an after party at a club in Miami. Then allegedly, you gave the teen alcohol and started dancing and touching the teen inappropriately, groping her breast, inner thighs, and buttocks. You tried to force the teen to perform oral sex on yourself. The teen allegedly passed out and woke up to you trying to make her throw up. These are serious allegations, and there is always a lot behind the scenes that the public is not going to be able to see. The report says that the girl's mother found her intoxicated and possibly on drugs with severe swelling on her mouth and lips. Also, according to NBCMiami.com, it says you allegedly told the mother not to call the police because it would ruin your career. So you were served with a DNA warrant in June 2021, and you surrendered to the police. Your attorney says that there's no doubt that you are not this person, and they were going to help you get past this and back on with your life. Well, the preponderance of evidence must have been enough for you to plead guilty, because you got a plea deal scheduled for July 7th. So everything that your defense attorney said that you are not and what you did not do, all that came out to not be true, because you're pleading guilty for a reason.
That they will find something wrong with me clarifying that no plea has been made and I never pled to no damn child molestation.
A plea will be made in the future. That's why you haven't made a plea right now as of June 22nd.
This is wrong. And for people to upload misinformation, take it down. Don't apologize for spreading misinformation as it gets into the hands of other people who irresponsibly propagate this misinformation. Then get mad at me when I attempt to check and rectify people, like, hey, rectify the matter and just say, yo, please don't spread misinformation. You can spread your speculations. You can spread what you will.
Well, we have the paperwork now, so now we can spread correct information. So thank you.
Like to believe is the case. But once you assert something as a fact that is so egregious and can implicate the lives of several people, once you realize you've done that, and clearly you knew what you were.
Well, right now you could tell us exactly what you're going to plead guilty for July 7. Tell us your side of the story as far as court proceedings and why you're pleading guilty instead of fighting it. If you're innocent or at least not guilty, why not fight it in court? Why take a plea deal? You really could be talking about that.
Doing the first time you did the post because of the effort you made to get one video and then attach this false narrative on top of it. Clearly, we know your intention was malicious, but then after being checked about it, taking the video down and then uploading a new one and putting a new caption in there, that's still incorrect, but less egregious than the first one. Whoever you are, Tony the Closer, I'm a Tasha Katie. But what you can do is just
So he's threatening to sue Tony the Closer. Wow. This whole Instagram live is designed to do damage control. M. Rowland says this is the actions of a guilty man. Yeah, it is. He sounds like a guilty man. So Johnny Winning says that's a wild accusation. Explain what happened with that situation real quick. Exactly. He really should be talking about the facts of the case, the plea deal he's going to go into July 7. We're going to see the paperwork. We're going to see the information. So what he's doing right now is he's doing a dog whistle and rallying the troops to go out and do his bidding for him and donate so he can use that money to leave the country while we all see the paperwork that comes out for his July 7 plea deal. He'll leave the country on your donation. And he'll come back 6 months to a year later when we're on to the next flavor of the month, flavor of the year.
Apologize for first putting out the misinformation. You can reach out to the homie because I'm a good brother. And I'm not coming at you with no violence and no negativity. I don't have no mouth.
Well, you are coming with negativity because you're doing half-truths because you got a plea deal scheduled for July 7. We see the docket, sir.
For you, you probably just attempting to keep the clout going on your page or raise the volume of customers that come your way by keeping.
That's what you're doing. I think you're projecting
content on your channel. I know this is a different era since the social media era where we get paid to post things. So I just know how the YouTube streets are. I know how the Facebook streets are. I know how the Instagram streets are, the Twitter streets, the TikTok streets. I know people are doing their best to make a buck out here. And we get a little desperate sometimes. And before we even cross-reference.
Like M. Rowland is saying, post the paperwork. Talk about the paperwork. Paperwork's going to be coming out. This live stream is for you sheep out there who actually follow him and still believe in him. He's doing this to rally you all up to go fight on his behalf. He's trying to make you all in the flying monkey. That's why he dropped Tony the Closer's name. Out of all the videos out there, all the content creators out there, he said Tony the Closer because he wants you all to be flying monkeys, go and attack Tony the Closer.
Before we dot our I's, before we cross our T's, we go out our way and we just post irresponsibly and recklessly so we could be the first ones leading in the story. We've become the very thing that we hated in terms of the original media that existed.
You become the very thing that we all speak against that's destroying the Black community.
Okay? But that's what it is, brothers and sisters. That's a complete fact. You can't find a plea anywhere on planet Earth because there is no plea. You can't find me pleading.
Will be a plea July 7. So the plea is not available right now. You're right. That's a half truth. The full truth is the plea will be available next month.
To child molestation anywhere because no such thing exists. The people that are spreading this malicious lie obviously hate me so much that they would go out their way to misrepresent anything transpiring with me.
Right. So someone says you are a player. You got caught in your own ish. Guilty. Yeah, exactly. Kevin Wall Street. He's still drinking the Kool-Aid. Innocent until proven guilty. He'll be doing a guilty plea July 7. So don't worry. The guilty's coming.
Those are the only two things I want to talk about. There's no plea, and I never pled to no damn child molestation.
Right, a half-truth because the plea is coming July 7 in the future. These are the half-truths. Half of the information, and it's designed to manipulate and shape a narrative. He dropped Tony the Closer's name to give his flying monkeys a target. Typical pro-Black leader bullshit.
Those are the two things we're talking about, okay? That's all we're going to talk about. There's no plea. And I did not plead to.
Right now, there's no plea.
No child molestation. That's it. Again, I ain't got no smoke for nobody. I'm not going to.
You just said Tony the Closer's name, so you do have smoke.
Call any of you out your name that have been reposting this information, screenshotting it, running. I just want you guys to know that those of you that I know where the screenshots come from. So those of you that's posting, those of you posting these things right here, Brother Polight pleads guilty to molesting a 14-year-old child. Those of you posting these things right here, he left y'all out there because after he posted that misinformation, he took it down and reworded it. So not only did he irresponsibly put himself in legal harm's way, then all the people that took it and ran with it and followed suit as if it was true, a lot of you still have this thing posted up right now, and he took it down off of his page. He took it down off of his page when he realized what he's doing is wrong. But many of you still got it on your page like it's right. That's kind of crazy for a man to take something down, knowing how many people took it and reposted it, and then don't even come out and do a formal apology and say, damn, my bad, you never made such a plea. My fault.
The plea is coming July 7th. So Brother Polight is in his fifis because people don't have the exact information. And rather than him feeling remorse for what he did, being a leader, and just telling everybody what he did do and what he will do, which is do a guilty plea, July 7, he's choosing to play semantics. Wow, real classy.
And those of you that took it from me, y'all should take it down now because I realized I was in error and I lied. No, many of you got it on your page right now, propagating a damn lie. But we talk about the white man and we talk about his tricks to tear down black people.
What about your tricks to tear down black people?
But it's your own people, man.
That same thing that we're saying. It's your own people who will be wolves in sheep clothing and then do half-truths and mushmouth stuff as opposed to coming clean.
And that's why I want you guys to tune in for another episode of Rolls Royce Diaries. Talk to me nice. Blessings in abundance. You ain't gonna stop my drip. You ain't gonna stop my drive to be great. You know, you guys take your time out there before propagating and misrepresenting people's situations. It's very wrong to lie on people, and especially if you do it with malicious intent. But needless to say, you guys that want to keep up the misinformation, you knock yourselves out. Petty hour is nearing us. Do what thou will. Peace to the family.
Spirit Soul 3 says, we can get your paperwork. He actually is believing the nonsense that he's spilling. And that's what makes a cult leader really dangerous, because they believe the nonsense. It's one thing if they're trying to get you sheeple to believe them and go off the cliff with them. It's another for them to actually believe their own bullshit.
But again, we just dealing with a weird era of people that even when you see something is not true, people just want you to be in something negative so bad that they just pray. Just be careful, guys. Like I forewarned another good brother just now. Be careful, because when you spread misinformation like that, you can be sued for libel. You can be sued for character defamation. And you don't.
Now he's threatening to sue people. Wow. Instead of paying restitution to his victim or victims, he's talking about suing people in the black community. Real nice.
I don't want to take information for face value and post it. You don't want to take information and post it like you know it's true, and then turn around and blame somebody else. Well, the reason I posted it because this person posted it, and that person left you out there and took it down off their page. So if we didn't know he was the author of this confusion, we might think it's you that started this confusion. And I'm saying some of you guys are wealthy or at least have enough money. You don't need that kind of confusion misrepresenting other people's business before you investigate it properly to make sure you know what's going on.
Mel Go Crazy one. He's talking in circles. Show the paperwork. They call him Lil Killy. Yeah, show the paperwork, or at least talk about it. I mean, we see the docket information that you're going to be pleading guilty July 7.
That's it. Take my glasses off, right? Well, the Negro who posted this didn't have glasses on and he knew he was freaking lying. Come on now. Peace. Blessings in abundance, man.
Telling lies. So let me know in the comment section your thoughts. Thumbs up the video, share to your social media, subscribe. This is very sad. And I hate that a lot of the leaders in the black community are like this. And that's the reason why collectively we don't go anywhere. And that's why you got to be individualistic and only worry about your significant other, your children, your family, your friends. That's the only people you can influence and save and improve on. Trying to improve the entire Black collective, the entire Black population, it's a lost cause. Thanks for watching.